Hey guys, Jared here. So this is the MINIX Neo Z64. This is the Android version, but I'll have a video on the Windows version as well. Anyways, if you haven't heard of MINIX before, they make the higher quality TV boxes that most Android TV box enthusiasts usually gravitate towards. And if we flip the box over, it's not too hard to see why. For starters, with the Z64, MINIX decided to swap out the Chinese processors for a 64-bit Intel Bay Trail CPU with onboard Intel graphics, which really shows while navigating around the device and streaming media until you start playing a somewhat graphics demanding game like Asphalt 8 and begin experiencing a little stuttering. It's still very playable, but there are some stutters and frames being dropped. Continuing on with the spec list, it packs 2 gigs of RAM, though I really would have liked to see 3 gigs. And get this, 32 gigabytes of eMMC version 5.0 internal storage, which is faster than ever and twice as much storage as previous MINIX TV boxes and about 3 times as much of any other Android TV box I've ever owned or looked into. Bluetooth 4.0, 802.11 and Wi-Fi with unfortunately only a 2.4 gigahertz band, so no 5 gigahertz here folks, sorry. Taking a closer look at the unit itself, we've got an IR receiver on the front because the Z64 does come with its own remote, but I highly suggest using or buying an Air mouse like the one I'll have listed in the description of the video below. Because without a keyboard and the freeness of a mouse, the Z64's usability is pretty limited. On the right side, we have the power button, a micro SD card slot of which I'm not sure the max capacity because they don't even have that info listed on their own site. So if you guys happen to know, let everyone know in the comments section. And next to that is 2 USB 2.0 ports. On the back is our headphones or aux port, HDMI out, Ethernet, and power ports. Now, when it comes to the UI, I actually don't mind it. It doesn't look as cartoony as most other Android TV boxes do, but it's basic. Pretty much all of what you see on screen are just skin folders waiting for you to organize your favorite apps into. But if you don't like the look, you can always change the launcher by downloading something different from the Play Store. There's several apps pre-installed for you, ready to go, some of which are pretty useful to some and useless to others, like AirPin Pro, which costs about $5 in the Play Store, but you get a free license with your Z64. It's really more aimed towards people using iOS who want to stream videos, photos, and music from their iDevices. I tried playing around with it, but just couldn't figure it out with my Android phones. But then there's AirDroid, which is really handy for wirelessly transferring files. And then of course there's Kodi, formerly known as Xbmc. Now just a side note, out of the box, Kodi was several versions behind and I had to update it manually, sort of. I found that instead of having to manually download a file and install it, there's an app on the Play Store called Xbmc Updater, and it's all up to date with the latest and even beta versions of Kodi. But what's neat is that it'll download and install it all automatically for you, and it's free. Now all that said, although I think Kodi's great and all, it does require a fair amount of learning and research for all the different add-ons that actually provide you with movies and shows to watch. And unfortunately, MINIX doesn't really load anything good onto it for you. It just comes with the standard default add-ons that come stock with the Kodi application. Whereas I've reviewed a different TV box several months ago that came preloaded with Kodi, but had about 10 to 20 different extremely popular add-ons that were highly populated with HD movies and shows. So all the work was done for me. But it doesn't really matter how you get your content onto your TV box, because in the end, what it all comes down to is whether or not it looks good, and I'm happy to say it does. Image quality is bang on, no strange colors or weird artifacting. However, it could look just a tad better if MINIX gave it the capability of outputting at 1080p and 120 Hz, but instead limited us to 1080p at just 60 Hz. And at times, like during an action scene in a movie, it can be a little bit noticeable. But other than that, the Wi-Fi radio seems to be strong, it's fast and snappy, which if you didn't already know is rare in many lower quality Android TV boxes. Runs most games well enough to play. Unfortunately though, it only has Android 4.4.4 right now, but it does pack that 32 gigabytes of internal storage. So for around 140 bucks, it does pretty much everything I'd expect out of a higher quality Chinese Android TV box. I just wish that Kodi came out of the box preloaded with a bunch of great add-ons and the Android version be updated to KitKat by now. Anyways, if you wanted to pick one up for yourself, I'll have links to pandawheel.com down below, which is where mine came from, as well as another discount code that they gave to me to pass along to you guys. So thanks again to pandawheel.com for that. But that's it for this one. If you liked the video, do me a solid and click that like button. And if you're new to my videos, don't forget to subscribe to stay up to date with all of my reviews. But thanks as always for watching, and I'll talk to you all in the next one. Cheers.